Roots of Identity, the story of the Olumide family. In a small town in southwestern Nigeria, the Olumide family lived in a humble home filled with love, laughter, and rich cultural traditions. The patriarch, Mr. Olumide, was a respected elder in the community, known for his deep knowledge of Yoruba history, folklore, and language. His wife, Mama Tolu, was equally passionate about preserving their heritage, and together they raised their 3 children, Ayodele, Yetunde, and Kola, with one clear mission: to understand and celebrate their culture and traditional language. From the moment the children could speak, Mr. Olumide and Mama Tolu ensured that the Yoruba language was a natural part of daily life. Ayodele, the eldest, would sit on his father's knee while listening to stories of ancient kings, brave warriors, and wise elders. His favorite tales were of Ayodele, the legendary founder of the Yoruba people, which not only captivated his imagination but also instilled a deep sense of pride in his roots. Mama Tolu often sang lullabies in Yoruba, and as the children grew, they learned to recite proverbs and traditional poems. The rhythmic cadence of their mother's voice intertwined with the ancient words, creating an unbreakable bond with their heritage. As the children started school, they found themselves immersed in a world where English was the dominant language. While they excelled academically, their parents noticed that the cultural richness of their native language and traditions began to fade from daily conversation. Ayodele, Yetunde, and Kola would often speak in English, especially with friends, leaving their traditional language to the background. Mr. Olumide and Mama Tolu became increasingly concerned. They understood that without a strong grasp of their native language and cultural values, their children might lose touch with their identity. Determined to reverse this trend, they decided to take action. The Olumide family transformed their home into a vibrant center of culture. Mr. Olumide organized weekly storytelling evenings where he shared tales of Yoruba folklore, history, and moral lessons. These sessions were not just about entertainment, they were lessons in character, community values, and the beauty of their traditions. Mama Tolu established a small culture corner in their living room. This space was filled with traditional artifacts, musical instruments like the talking drum, and books on Yoruba customs. Every evening, the children would gather around, learn traditional dances, and even try their hands at creating simple crafts, such as weaving small mats or painting a dye. The family also celebrated traditional festivals with fervor. During the New Yam festival, the Olumide household buzzed with excitement as they prepared delicious native dishes, dressed in traditional attire, and performed cultural dances. These celebrations reinforced the importance of their heritage and provided the children with first-hand experiences of their vibrant culture. Over time, the renewed focus on tradition began to bear fruit. Ayodele became a budding storyteller, captivating his peers at school with tales of legendary heroes and ancient wisdom. Yetunde developed a passion for traditional music, learning to play the talking drum and sharing rhythms that echoed the heartbeat of their ancestors. Kola, the youngest, took pride in the colorful patterns of Ayodele cloth, dreaming of one day becoming a renowned textile artist. Their fluency in Yoruba also gave them a unique edge in understanding their roots. They could converse effortlessly with elders in the community, and during cultural events, they were often called upon to recite proverbs that held lessons for everyone. Their education became a blend of modern knowledge and traditional wisdom, a combination that enriched their perspectives and strengthened their identities. Inspired by the Olumide family's success, other parents in the town began to emphasize cultural education at home. Community centers organized language classes and traditional dance workshops, and local schools started integrating more cultural studies into their curriculum. The revival of interest in the Yoruba language and customs transformed the town into a hub of cultural pride and unity. Mr. Olumide, with his gentle wisdom, became a mentor to many young parents, teaching them that the preservation of language and culture was not just about remembering the past, it was about shaping the future. Our traditions are the roots that ground us, he would say. They give us identity, strength, and a sense of belonging in this ever-changing world. Years later, as Ayodele, Yetunde, and Kola prepared to leave for university, the Olumide family gathered together one last time before their departure. In a heartfelt ceremony, the children pledged to uphold their heritage and continue the legacy of learning and cherishing their culture and language. We promise to never forget who we are and where we come from, Ayodele declared, his voice steady with conviction. Mama Tolu embraced each of her children, her eyes filled with pride and hope. Remember, my darlings, that your culture is your treasure. Let it guide you, enrich you, and connect you to the generations that came before you. The Olumide family's story spread far and wide, serving as a powerful reminder that nurturing cultural identity and preserving traditional languages is essential for personal growth and community strength. Through love, dedication, and a shared commitment to their heritage, they ensured that the legacy of the Yoruba people would continue to flourish for generations to come. As the years went by, the legacy of the Olumide family continued to flourish. The children, now young adults, carried the lessons of their upbringing into every aspect of their lives. They ventured out into the world, confident in their identity, yet always mindful of their roots. Ayodele, now studying cultural anthropology at university, devoted his research to documenting the rich traditions and oral histories of their people. He organized community storytelling festivals that attracted scholars, elders, and curious youths from across the region. His work not only celebrated Yoruba heritage but also created a digital archive to ensure that the stories of his ancestors would be preserved for future generations. Yetunde pursued a career in music and education. She established a non-profit organization dedicated to teaching traditional musical instruments to children in urban areas. Through workshops and concerts, she showed that modern technology and traditional art forms could harmoniously coexist. Her efforts led to the revival of interest in indigenous rhythms, creating a bridge between the past and the present. Kola, inspired by his early fascination with textiles, became a renowned designer who combined traditional attire techniques with modern fashion trends. His innovative creations graced runways around the world, sparking renewed interest in African textiles and craftsmanship. Kola's work was celebrated not only for its aesthetic beauty but also for its powerful cultural message. Pride in one's heritage can be a source of strength and creativity. The town that the Olumide family called home began to undergo a renaissance of cultural pride. Local schools introduced classes in Yoruba language and traditional arts, and community centers hosted festivals that celebrated the uniqueness of their heritage. The Olumide family, through their example, had inspired a movement that rekindled a love for traditions in every corner of the community. Elders were invited to share their wisdom with the younger generations, and the dialogue between past and present flourished. What had once been a quiet town became a vibrant hub where the preservation of cultural identity was a collective effort, a legacy that ensured continuity, pride, and unity. Years later, the community organized a grand cultural festival in honor of the Olumide family. The event featured storytelling sessions led by Ayodele, musical performances conducted by Yetunde, and a special fashion show showcasing Kola's designs. It was a day of celebration, reflection, and hope for the future. At the festival's climax, a ceremony was held where the town's leaders and elders presented the Olumide family with a commemorative plaque. The inscription read, "In the spirit of our ancestors, may we always remember our roots, celebrate our language, and honor our traditions. This is our heritage, our identity, and our future." Mama Tolu, with a gentle smile and eyes glistening with tears of joy, whispered to Mr. Olumide, "We have done well. Our love, our efforts, and our commitment have created a legacy that will live on in every heart in this community." Mr. Olumide, proud and content, nodded. "Yes, my dear. Our children, and now their children, will always know who they are and where they come from. That is the greatest gift we could ever give." The story of the Olumide family became more than just a family narrative, it became a beacon of hope and pride for an entire community. Their journey demonstrated that embracing modernity does not mean abandoning tradition. Instead, it means honoring the past while stepping confidently into the future. As the sun set over the vibrant town, its people gathered together, speaking the language of their ancestors, dancing to ancient rhythms, and sharing stories that transcended time. In every smile, in every heartfelt conversation, and in every proud declaration of heritage, the legacy of the Olumide family and the beauty of Yoruba culture lived on, eternally intertwined in the fabric of their community. The festival's echoes resonated throughout the community, sparking renewed conversations about the importance of cultural heritage and education. In the years that followed, the Olumide family continued to inspire and lead by example, proving that the modern world and ancient traditions could not only coexist but also enrich one another. Recognizing the power of education in preserving their cultural legacy, Ayodele, Yetunde, and Kola joined forces to launch an initiative called Roots and Wings. This program aimed to integrate traditional Yoruba language, music, art, and storytelling into modern school curricula. With support from local leaders and enthusiastic educators, Roots and Wings introduced interactive classes, digital archives, and community-led workshops that made learning about Yoruba culture both engaging and relevant. Children in the town began to see their heritage not as an old relic of the past, but as a vibrant and living part of their identity. The program encouraged them to speak Yoruba, recite proverbs, and learn traditional crafts alongside their regular studies. In this way, the wisdom of their ancestors became a dynamic foundation for the future. The success of Roots and Wings fostered deeper intergenerational bonds. Elders were invited to schools, where they shared first-hand accounts of traditions, rituals, and historical events. This exchange not only enriched the students' education but also honored the elders by valuing their life experiences. At community centers, storytelling sessions evolved into intergenerational festivals, where young and old came together to celebrate, dance, and sing traditional songs. These events became a cornerstone of the community, a time when everyone, regardless of age, reconnected with the stories that defined their collective identity. As word spread beyond their small town, neighboring communities began adopting similar programs. The Olumide family's journey was chronicled in local media, and soon, educational institutions across the region embraced the idea of blending modern learning with traditional heritage. Regional cultural festivals were organized, where families from different towns showcased their unique traditions. These gatherings not only strengthened local identities but also built bridges among diverse communities, fostering mutual respect and cultural exchange. Years later, as the Olumide children themselves became mentors and community leaders, they often looked back on their parents' legacy with deep gratitude. The efforts of Mr. and Mama Olumide had sown seeds that blossomed into a community proud of its past and optimistic about its future. At a grand reunion celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Roots and Wings program, a young student took the stage to recite a Yoruba poem, followed by a rendition of a traditional song that had been passed down for generations. The applause was thunderous, not just for the performance, but for the collective journey that had united them. In her closing remarks, Ayodele said, "Our heritage is our compass, guiding us through the complexities of modern life. It is our duty to honor it, to teach it, and to ensure that every generation knows who they are and where they come from." The Olumide family's story became a beacon of hope and a timeless reminder that culture is not a static relic but a living, breathing part of our identity. By nurturing their roots and weaving traditional wisdom into the fabric of modern life, they created a legacy that would echo for generations. And so, as the sun set over the vibrant community, its people continued to speak, sing, and celebrate in the language of their ancestors, a language that carried the timeless stories of love, unity, and the indomitable spirit of the Yoruba people. If you liked this video, please subscribe, share, like and comment. Thanks.